Stop F on the architectural walking tour of Collingwood and Fitzroy. Today, we're looking at one of the few built examples of a postmodernist building in Melbourne. Let's go. Let's get into what postmodernism is and why it matters. Postmodernism, as the name suggests, was a reaction to modernism. It's defined by eclectic, colourful architecture, it's super decorative, and it had its heyday in the 1970s, which really isn't that long ago, and considering how whack it is, I think you're going to be surprised. So let's talk about what it was reacting against. Modernism came about because of the post-war era. After the war, a couple of really big shifts happened. The first one was that because of all the war-torn communities, there was a really urgent need for housing. But in order to meet the sheer requirement, we had to move towards a more standard, mass-produced way of building. Now, this was also made available because during wartime, there had been a lot of development in materials manufacturing techniques, and that meant that there was new ways to build with steel, glass, concrete. Another influencing factor was because of the sheer austerity of wartime, people were really moved by functional, rational building. To decorate a building felt a little bit at odds considering the sheer bleakness of what everyone had been through. And then finally, coming out of a post-war period, people had a huge appetite for sort of an idealist future society. And so something as radical as modernism really seemed to feed that fire. The pinnacle of modernism is really well represented in this building here. It's the Villa Savoy by Le Corbusier. It was a really pioneering project at the time to do with getting access to light, big windows, elevated planes. It was seen as utopian, but in today's context, looking back, it actually in some ways can be seen as quite brutal, not a lot of joy in the architecture, you could say. And so postmodernism was the reaction to these principles that you basically see in this building here. They were like, this is boring, it's heartless, soulless, let's bring back decoration, let's bring back joy in architecture. But it ended up, some of the most iconic postmodern buildings ended up looking really whack. It went down this really literal path. I don't actually have a very good understanding of why this happened. Another example. And it was all in reaction to modernism and this super restrained, hyper-functional design ethos. And this is an even more recent one, this literal translation of it's a house, let's make it look like a house. So this is a series of apartments. The first giveaway with this building is that it looks like a face. Its decorative elements are completely devoid of function. Knowing what we do about the principles of modernism and postmodernism, to be able to decorate like this with no function, to me means it's firmly in the postmodernism camp. There really aren't a lot of built examples of this style of work because it got so whack. So that's why it's on the architectural walking tour, because it's really rare to find it. I need to preface this video by saying I could not find anything about this building online. I couldn't find when it was built, who designed it, what it was designed for. So all of this is taken from interpretation on the street and trying to align it with an architectural style that makes sense. On the home stretch, that was Stop F, and we only have Stop G left. So see you next time.